All right. Drop top on a Wednesday. Sunroof with the
Welcome to the Highly Doubted Podcast. I'm your host, KQ Dog. And this is episode 133. As you guys can already know, you guys can see that you do not see me. You only hear me. That means some things have happened that I must address. Time has happened. Lots of time has happened. Things have shifted to where I must address to the people what has happened to this wonderful, illustrious podcast. We have had a lot of things happen, really good things. Really, a lot of good things have happened since we've last blessed you guys. Well, see, there I go, messing up again, using the wrong words. Last time I was here, last time you heard us, it was a bonus episode. Shout out to Denzel, not Washington, for being on the podcast, talking about a great manly talk about feelings, emotions, where to be a man, how to be, vulnerable and transparent. That was a really good episode. Shout out to Denzel Washington. Denzel, not Washington, excuse me. And yeah, man, he definitely blessed us last time he was here. Daryl is not here. Travis is not here. Things have changed in the way of scheduling in real life. So myself, as well as Whitley, we've had promotions in our lives, hip hip hooray, to where our scheduling, our regular time schedules that we had to pod with the crew is no longer capable. We're no longer able to do that because of how time works. So the boys, DB, Travis, will not be here indefinitely until that circle of time opens up again. Thank y'all so much for being on the podcast through the months. The video journey. Shout out to Trav, shout out to Brandon, shout out to Greg. Thank y'all for being a part of the Highly Doubted team and blessing us with the new and improved version of, visual. I was praying, wondering, wanting visual for the longest time, and we got it and we had it and it was dope. And we maintained it. There were some things that happened in between that, we had to, get through, struggles, things like that. Every podcast, every great podcast goes to those things. And it was great. And I am happy, will be happy when the scheduled time opens up again where we can come back and revisit that arc of our podcast. But now we're in a new arc. We are in a new arc. We're in a new season. We're in a new just elevation of life right now because your boy has been promoted. Your boy is a supervisor. Shout out to Spectrum. Your boy is a supervisor at Spectrum Arena. You know what I'm saying? Doing that big shit. Shout out to Levy, man. Shout out to Spectrum. Shout out to North Carolina. Shout out to Charlotte. Shout out to everybody who just wished me good energy and congratulations for this promotion that I received. It's a supervising position at one of the prestigious clubs at Spectrum Arena. It's called ICC, or Inner Center Circle. It's one of the most prestigious clubs we have in the Spectrum Arena, and yours truly is running it. And I'm very excited, and we will have a bunch of stories to share with you. I will have a bunch of stories to share with you throughout my supervising journey. And yeah, so don't worry about that. Content will always be going on about KQ's life because it's so exciting. And Whitley, Whitley has a new job. She'll talk about it when she returns on the pod. And what she's doing and how that's working for her and how she's not been able to be on the pod for months. So that'll be fun. But right now, again, like I said, this is me solo dolo doing it, trying to get back to a consistency. I'm not going to lie, guys, with this thing with this blessing of other things, boy, been burnt out, man. Boy has been burnt out and just trying to be present in what I'm doing, right? And granted, the podcast was already a moving machine, a bigger machine once the video started to get a part of that. That went along with the editing, that went along with all of the other responsibilities that came with being visual. And I have a lot of work to do behind the scenes so I can fully flesh out the content we had when we were visual. I've already had a heart to heart with myself about things that I did not execute on, which was the cookout. There were some things that I said I was going to do on the Instagram and TikTok and get the people on the pod and, you know, make sure that these people that you saw at the cookout was going to be on the podcast. And there was a whole bunch of promises that was said. And I don't want to act like I don't keep all my promises, but life tends to just happen to where the things that I said will still happen, but just not as quickly as I thought it would, especially with all of the backtracking that us as a podcast have to do to get back on kilter. So saying a lot of words, but just to break it all down in this segment so we can get to other things, we are back to audio, but we are not losing our swag. You're not losing no entertainment. You ain't losing no type of good vibes, because I will always be here to provide the good vibes, rain, hail, sleet, or snow, visual, no visual. Audio will always be 100. And speaking of that, I will apologize to all of the people who've listened to this podcast over the last couple months, especially the new listeners who have been listening to this podcast and the audio has been low, the audio has been unable to hearing. Again, that is a editor issue, which is my fault, which I will definitely be better on starting on this episode moving forward. And it sucks that this type of upgrade has to happen with the audio while the visual is not. So, you know, if it ain't one thing, it's another. It's another. But enough of that. What is going on with KQ aside from that, man? Jiho just passed. Shout out to my Aggies, A&T, Aggie Pride. Woo woo. We have had our 99th Jiho this year. Next year will be our 100th Jiho. When I went to Jiho this year, it was very spontaneous. Shout out to Nia G. Shout out to Nia G because she had a performance as well, which was very off the hook, off the chain, dope. And we ended up going to Greensboro after to celebrate us as Aggies during the homecoming, but also, you know, see old friends and fuck it for the plot. You know what I'm saying? Just for it. You know, hey, we can do it. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we did. So it was a very dope experience. I'm definitely going to try to make it a mission to go to the 100th Jiho, because obviously that is a milestone, something that is wonderfully just so happened to just land in my lap for next year and all the things that are happening. So next year, this time, hopefully there should be a different type of rollout for the Hot Data Podcast, KQ, etc. when it comes to Jiho and what that's about. But yeah, no, I went to Jiho. It was spontaneous. It was great, but I loved it. It was quick, but I wish it was longer. But make the most out of what you can. So yeah, shout out to A&T for always presenting the best homecoming on earth. What else? Do I have topics today? I do have topics today, but I feel like I just been away for so long. I just don't want to get to talking about other stuff, you know, like the podcast has had so many things been going on to where now that it's just me again in this moment, in this episode, it's me again. Once again, when you are with KQ, and if you know KQ and you've talked to KQ and you know how KQ talks when he gets in his bag, he starts to rant, he starts to ramble, and he starts to reflect. So this will be a reflecting segment right here. If you are not familiar, before the podcast existed, I had a radio show. Shout out to WDRB. And on that radio show, I invented the highly doubted radio show. And the core crux of that was the highlighting all the people who are creatives, all the people who had something that they're passionate about, and their version of their highly doubted journey to where they were now, right? And this podcast or that platform was to highlight those people, right? And there were episodes after that radio show that had people, musicians, entrepreneurs, some in corporate. But even though those three segments were all highlighted, they all had a highly doubted experience with it. So that was what the highly doubted brand was about, and it still is about that. But I know over the course of time, especially as we've gotten through the real numbers in the highly doubted podcast, we started to get more casual, started to get a little bit more lax, not in a bad way, but just relaxed in terms of conversation. And that doesn't have to be always about highly doubted this or highly doubted that. We're personalities, and our opinions sometimes are not always on brand, quote unquote, with the highly doubted brand. But hey, it's us. It's what we're talking about. So it's highly doubted still. Well, I'm saying all that to say is during this time, if you see the time this episode came out versus the last episode that came out, 132.5, it's been some time. And through that time, I've really just been looking at all of the old work I've done, all of the old episodes, all of the radio shows, just hearing myself talk about what was being talked about at that time, and just seeing for one, and then hearing on the podcast just the passion and the fun and all of the things that came with that. And it just felt effortless at the time. I would say since I've been back in Charlotte and trying to construct the podcast to the level that it is now, even without the video, it was a lot of work, a lot of energy, a lot of conversations, a lot of butting heads, a lot of agreements and disagreements, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that it was going smoothly for all parties involved. And even in that, there were some highly doubted moments in there. And I cherish it because that's what life is about, not just my brand, but just life in general, about anything you're trying to create. But it also just created a nostalgic feeling for me about why I did this podcast in the first place, and why I came to the decision to continue the podcast and talk about things, because it wasn't just about other people, it was about myself as well, right? So being the person who is the host, the creator, the visionary to make this thing go to infinity and beyond, there has to be moments of reflection. And I will say, over the last couple weeks with life, even the good things, it's highs and lows. So positive and negative things, glorious things, crazy things. It was all necessary for me to live life and not pod, and just be in my own life, be in my own thoughts, to be like, hey, you got a podcast, spit this shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm proud that I created this thing called the High Data Podcast. So I have moments of reflecting, and people who love me and love this podcast, love the energy it brings, tune in and listen. And I appreciate everybody who listens. And I thank you all for listening. And as we continue the road to infinity, I said in previous episodes we would have a lot of people here on the couch and talking about their hideout stories, and talking about, the brand itself, not just me, but them, and how they can apply hideout to their lives or messages, and et cetera, et cetera. There will be a pause, a huge pause. because of real life. Myself, Whitley, just having blessings uh, of work, you know what I'm saying? Work that we like to do, work that we love to do. And it takes our time away from the things we committed to before, which was the podcast. But that doesn't mean that the podcast has to go. It just means that we have to take care of business. And when we get on the podcast, we give it our 110%. You know what I'm saying? So, and that doesn't mean, we have to be solely focused on positive, high energy, highly doubt it. Sometimes we just gonna have we just got some stories to tell y'all. We just gonna kick the shits, you know what I'm saying? So, that's just where I like to vent and get that reflecting off, just for a podcast itself. Yeah, you know. And again, most people will hear this podcast and will, understand that, hey, I like Daryl. I like this podcast because Daryl was here. I don't want to hear just KQ or Willie ain't been on. I ain't listening in a long time because Willie ain't been here. And if Willie ain't on here, I ain't listening. And it's like, cool. Hit them up. Well, see, DB, I understand because there was conversations to where it was we tried to make it flexible, and because of just how the conversation went, we have to wait until the time that we are available, or at least Daryl and Travis are available to open up again. So that's one thing. But for Whitley, getting her goddamn DMs, getting her ass. I be telling you all the time, get in Whitley's ass. She has been here for too long to know how this thing go. And granted, she got things going on, and like I said before, but she has no excuse. If you ask me, she ain't got no excuse. As much as this podcast has been built, she was right alongside me building this. So the hiatus that she has taken is warranted. It's warranted, but it ain't warranted. Damn it. If I'm not here, she should be here giving y'all topics and life things and things like that. But it's all good. It's all good. It's okay. That's why the dog is here. That's why the dog is here. All right. As I am here, that is why I'm also to entertain, not just to inform and give y'all awareness. Entertain. There are some things that I could speak on or talk about or get into that could I don't know, be interesting. I'll start off with some home-based work since it's so early in the week and this is very fresh. Shout out to the Panthers. Shout out to the Carolina Panthers. Why? Because y'all be playing. But y'all be playing though. How y'all gonna have these type of games with the Cowboys? You guys beat the Cowboys. How y'all gonna have a game against the Cowboys, right? Like that. And if this is what y'all capable of, y'all choose to do these rigmarole things with these other teams that don't make any sense. Now that y'all beating the Cowboys, eyes are on y'all. My eyes are on y'all. I'm not saying I wasn't looking at y'all because I live here, but I'm looking at y'all because it's like, yes, majority of it is laugh at the Cowboys. But since you're living here in Charlotte, you don't have to be a Panther fan. But if you love football and you know the culture of the game and you know the culture of the team, you're going to be looking at the Panthers like, hey, man, stop playing. If y'all can do this, then turn up. Bryce Young, turn up, man. If y'all can do that, man, do that thing. The league, unfortunately, is having a lot of injuries, which is not happy because these are human beings at the end of the day. But come on now, Panther, Pound Town. You know what I'm saying. Get it together. Come on. And the Hornets. Yeah, this is going to be a nice little local sports section. Charlotte Hornets starting 5. Hear me and hear me well. And see, this is where KQ about to get in his bag and he ain't got a camera to zoom in on his face. But y'all see my face long enough to know how I give it up. Hornets starting 5. I don't know if y'all have seen the arena. If y'all have seen the renovation, but it looks beautiful. Looks amazing. Okay. And it's so unrecognizable. I worked there last year all season, and I can't even. I got lost on one level. That's how new it looks. It looks beautiful. It looks amazing. Hornets starting five. I need y'all to realize that the people who are coming to watch these games, yes, they're here for their. Some of them are here to watch you, of course, but some are here to have a good, luxurious time. And now that the arena has renovated itself into a luxurious arena, give them something to come to. Win some games, man. And the season ain't even started, but I'm just looking at the arena, and y'all don't even know what y'all coming back home to. Y'all coming back home to some dope shit. Y'all can't even experience it for real because y'all on the court while most people are in the stands and why you would be there. But understand, the people are now in spaces in the arena where they are living and looking and eating great, and nothing would bring them more happiness in their hearts to see y'all beat some motherfuckers, please, because that would just give the whole atmosphere of a new renovated arena. It just gives it like a winning spirit. It's damn near not even getting into a new like reload. This is damn near a relocation. If you were to be into, well, none of you have seen it because you don't work there. But what I'm trying to tell people who are going to see Spectrum when it opens up, it looks beautiful. And I know that y'all would definitely love to come in game after game after game, even though you love all the away teams, the Bucks and the Heat and the Lakers and the Warriors. Nothing would be more satisfying if those teams come in our house and y'all got a good ticket in a suite, you're down in the club, you're down in any of the prestigious clubs and sitting there getting a drink or eating some good food, and you seeing the Hornets up by X. And that just gives you a good feeling when you take that sip, when you take that bite of food. It's like, this food is good, this drink is good, and we winning. I'm just speaking for the people starting five. That was for the Hornets starting five. So when y'all get on the court and y'all hear y'all names being called and people are crying out and saying, "Oh my God, we love you," just understand there are people out here sitting in beautiful, luxurious spots, just wanting y'all to be up and winning so they can be that much more happier in the place that they are. Because where they at is a dope ass arena called Spectrum. So that's enough. That's enough for me trying to get on globbling on Spectrum's knob. But it is a very beautiful arena, and I'm very excited to see how this goes for the season. But yeah, man, Charlotte, rise up, man. Rise up. You lucky I ain't got stats on the nights like that, because I'll get in y'all too. But I'm gonna leave y'all alone. But yeah, that was my local sports take for the week. I'm not gonna get into my personal with my team. We've already discussed how I feel, and granted, that had a great win, but I'm not gonna get into it like I said before. So we're gonna get into some topics. Okay, so we're gonna scratch that. This is gonna be a personal episode because I have some things I want to just talk about. Part of the reason, aside from just time away from the podcast, I have had a lot of mental shifts, right? A lot of mental shifts to where I'm thinking about real life and what real life means to me, what that means for my future, what that means for the dynamic of what I want to see fit. And most of that stuff kind of requires your undivided attention to where you got to put some things down. So, for this time being, especially, from this time of this episode dropping, I put the potting down. I put the music down. I really haven't really put that fire on to, like I've done in the past, especially when I've gotten this promotion, because it definitely made me want to look at life a little bit different and see what life holds for me in a different space. Because I've never been in this position before, the supervisor position. And as much as I was talking about in the previous episodes, as it comes closer and closer and closer, I don't know if my coworkers will be listening to this, will be listening to the podcast, but if you do, hey, you get the Diary of KQ with this episode. But yeah, man, I think the whole experience is new and jarring to where I don't really want to put any energy in anything else besides what I'm doing, or at least when I'm doing what I'm doing at the time when I'm doing, which is the job. Nothing else is more important. So the podcast and other things that I've created brand wise have been on hold or just completely shift on halt because I don't want to juggle. I want to specifically just sit down and do this one thing and be great at this one thing and be excellent in this one thing. And we can get back to the other stuff when it's that time, but not right now, you know? So there's just been a lot of, it's crazy for me to say, a lot of foot off the gas. And, I have to also say the reason why it's been hard is because I have been inconsistent as hell when it's come to the actual episodes. Like I've done things that I wish was more productive, like post more videos on the Instagram, post little clips on YouTube. This is just me talking crap about myself because I don't do these things. So when I listen back to it and I edit it, it's like, yeah, bro, do these things so your podcast can grow. These are the type of highly dotted, rants and vents I got to get to myself to do things because, I say it in my brain and people can relate to this. You say it in your brain that you need to do this, do that, be better in this, be better in that. And then you say, forget it. Whatever. It's not that important. It doesn't mean anything. Whatever. Blah, blah, blah. And you don't do it. Well, I've been doing that. And it's been very noticeable if people who have been watching the podcast over a long time have seen the progression of this, and the progression has been slow. The pace has been slow. And part of that is because I am not doing what I should be doing fully. And I think this moment of time of me being back in this moment of time of this episode, square one. Not really square one, because if you think about where I've been, where I started, I was on my phone when I first started this podcast. Now I have a whole equipment set, got a whole microphone, got a whole thing. And as much as I put money invested in this, you would have think the audio would be better. There I go, kicking myself in the ass again. I just have to be great at the basics of things. I think I'm trying to be advanced and super advanced and crazy advanced and think about all these 3, 4, 5 steps, and I need to just perfect the first step to where I don't think about the first step. It's just what I do, and then the second step, and then to go from there. And maybe from a editing, from a podcast standpoint, the first step is to record. I do that like it's breathing. The second step is to edit it, make sure it sounds good how you want. The third step is releasing it, because people will not release episodes even if it does sound good. But third step is release. The fourth step is promote. And I always struggle with this. And that's not always been the podcast. It's been my music. It's been the whole marketing thing. It's been such a drag for me personally. So that's why I know the podcast has as much content as it does. But in terms of how you see the content, how it reaches you, how it's going to reach you if the person who's doing it ain't reaching out. So, I think for where I'm at today, I'm cool with not having the podcast be the greatest podcast in the world for now, because I want to be great at this position, manager, supervisor job. And even though there have been plenty of things that I've done at the same time of doing a podcast, and I was on brand and I was on consistency and all that, the level that I was at when I was doing the podcast and I was doing said other thing, it felt like this is the best I can do, but I'm doing the best I can for everything I'm doing. And I feel like that was appropriate. What I do in terms of releasing and promoting the podcast today versus what I did then is not okay. There should definitely been an upgrade. Definitely should have been some type of extra dynamic than just posting it on Instagram and letting it rock, and then just posting and reposting. Like, there should have been pieces of content. So I do know that I dropped the ball in the moments of things that should happen, but that doesn't mean it's not able to be done. Like,
I feel like for a lot of people who are listening to this episode who is like, damn, man, we just hearing you talk about, we just hearing you down yourself. Well, yeah, this is motivational talk. I need to give myself, because sometimes, you know, people don't have the vulnerability to speak out to things that they're not good at, and to criticize themselves at things they're not good at, and really have an inner monologue with themselves about what they need to work on. And I'm that person to do that. And unfortunately, I have a podcast, and thank y'all for listening to this, because hopefully I'm giving y'all motivational something y'all do too. So this is a hard listen if y'all have some things that y'all need to get done and y'all are procrastinating, because I am been full procrastination and I am here to just give myself an ass whooping on procrastination. So this is not the episode where holly jolly ignorancy. This is me really just reflecting, venting, like I said before in the earlier parts of this, that I'm just proud of where I am, but I know that if I want to feel fulfilled in the things that I'm doing, I need to step it up, right? And stepping up for me personally, it starts with my actual life, which makes money and pays my bills like any adult, and that is where I've gotten my promotion. Thank you, God. And I feel fulfilled. I don't feel like now that's done, it's time to hop on the podcast train and start doing X, Y, Z. I do not. I feel like it needs to be, I need to settle in this, sit in this, feel this. And as I progress and excel in that, even in the time that I'm doing it before the spectrum is open, I felt the need to want to bring a different type of energy to the other things I'm doing, right? So the way that I'm presenting myself out there in the arena, and the way that I show up in the arena, and the way that I excel in the arena, have that same mentality with everything else that you do. Maybe what you did last year was good enough or excellent enough to where you tried to mirror that with what was happening, and it was cool. But now that there's been an elevation in life, there needs to be a jump in life, a huge jump, a big responsibility jump. That also needs to apply in all other areas of my life. And I think being real with myself, that means that there's a lot of there's a lot of critiques that I have to really be honest with myself about. I enjoy people who love me and can speak to it, if we have a conversation or, dialogue, but I have to start with it myself. And I know that things that have happened, the great things that have happened, because of my hard work and what I've done and my abilities. But I feel like there's more to give. There's more that I can do. I know I can. I can't say I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this if I really have not trained myself internally to step into those shoes. Like, I feel like the responsibility that I have to step into with this job is going to make me face the responsibilities that I want to in my other parts of life, because it's like, how can you be like this at work and you're not like this in other parts? Maybe I think your job is the spearhead of your livelihood. So the way you approach your job is how you approach all things, right? So you could be, lax, lazy in one area because it's not really paying the bills, or it's not really money, or it's not really motivational or aspirational, like said other thing. But if you have a job if you had a job that paid the same for the thing that you're passionate about, there will be a whole different mindset, a whole different approach. That's me. And I have to be honest with myself in saying that's me. I love to try to motivate myself to a point to look past that and still make the greatest thing or perform at a high level. And it works. And I do. You see it. But as I get older, it has to mold into something else, something more concrete, something more desirable. And I think right now the most desirable thing is being 100,000% dope dope supervisor of Spectrum. I love saying that. Hope I don't get in trouble. I won't. But yeah, no. Shout out to life and shout out to everything that is life is loving, loving, living, very special. Yeah. So yeah. Music. Oh yeah, we do have music. Oh man. See, I just said I wasn't gonna get into no mess. I just said I wasn't gonna get into no mess, man. I just said I was gonna chill out. I was talking about reflecting and life and love and responsibilities and all the things that it comes with being an adult. But at the same time, this still is a podcast. So if you are still with me at this time, it's time to get into some foolishness. It's time to get into some foolishness because I have seen some things. We've all seen some things that I just don't understand. One, confused about. Two, and just disappointed overall. Three. Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. Oh my goodness. I'm getting the women's business. So a couple things come to mind when I've been seeing this. First of all, let's get the surface things out the way. If you don't know about Cardi B and Nicki Minaj, they've been beefing for a while. And the premise of it for me is strictly artist, or at least I like to keep it strictly artist, to where I think that Nicki has never had competition in her prime. She never had competition on her come up. She was a part of the greatest gang. She was a part of the greatest label team in hip hop in our generation, with Young Money, with Drake and Wayne, them being the three, Tyga as well. You know, let's put respect on Tyga's name. To where, yeah, there was nobody touching Nicki Minaj from a female hip hop standpoint for a good time. She dominated, right? And with that domination, I can see where the ego and the I'm that boss, I'm that bitch is very apparent. So when you have new artists, female artists come in the game and not in your lane, I guess you could say, how are you going to approach the newcomer? Are you going to come with love? Are you going to come with uh not even humbleness, but just like I see you, I see what you're doing, shout out to you? Or are you going to be a hater? Are you going to not really give the new artists their praise on their success, or not really be genuine in it? And I think people, myself included, would say she leaned more to the second part, especially when it came to the actual song where they featured each other, which was Motorsport with the Migos. And there was some type of miscommunication or some changing of the verses, because Nicki said something about Cardi in the song that wasn't the best, and she changed her verse. And the rumor, just the fact that she changed her verse, exploded and was an uproar. The fact that Nicki and Minaj would have to change anything for anybody is ridiculous. And that's where I feel like, things started to get a little weird. Now, personally, I do feel like Nicki has been on a battle with Jay-Z and other labels, mainly Rock Nation, mainly other big executives. She's been fighting a fight that I don't have the money to see. And she is saying that the artist, Megan as well, where she is fighting a fight that no one can see, and she's the good guy, and these are bad guys. And now Cardi is on that bad guy girl list. So there will be beef. And I don't mind beef when it comes to hip hop, because that's what this is about to a degree. But we keep it music. The tweets, the shots, the children. Come on, ladies. Ladies, we are in a space in our society where it's really easy to fall into low vibrations and to get into these quarrels online because that is what society thinks is normal and to do when you have things of of conflict. But for one, I don't think that you guys are at a level where you should even be talking about anyone's children because y'all are mothers and y'all don't want no one talking about your kids. So you shouldn't talk about anyone's kid. That's one. And then two, I would think that you two have each other's contact information, or at least have each other's team contact information. What happened to conversations on the phone? Even if it got leaked, fuck it. It was a conversation between you two on the phone. What happened to that? Why does it have to go public? Why do we have to go on Instagram to show what we show that? It's if you have a real problem with somebody, I just never, as an artist, as a human, as a person who has that type of energy for somebody, I don't want to go online to talk to you and other people to see it. And if I didn't have your contact information and I want to get to you, talk to you, I'm gonna DM you. And if you screenshot the DMs, then that's you, brother. But if I have an issue or if I have a problem or if I genuinely want to discuss something with you, coming straight to the source. And I feel like I'm a normal human being in the normal life that don't have any enemies. Thank goodness, thank God. I pray for no enemies in that capacity. But if I did have an enemy like that and we had some type of quarrel like that, I don't want to be naive here, but I would definitely want to see the person and have a conversation. Now I know to certain people that sounds different for where you come from, but I'm a person who genuinely says what he means. I want to talk to you. What's the issue? What's the problem? If we get to talking and rising up, and God forbid, we start saying things. We start saying things we don't want to say, or you saying things you really feel like you want to say. It doesn't get to a point where we have to go to blows or fighting or nothing like that. But if we do, hopefully, gloves up, guns down. But that's where I just feel like we as a generation, especially mine and above, that's where we come from. Why are we going on Twitter? Why are we going on social media, man? These questions are obviously rhetorical because everybody has an answer. I wish DB was here. He would definitely have said something already. But that's where I just don't understand why there has to be such a need for a show, especially if there's real beef. It's me, so I don't give a damn. Drake and Kendrick had beef. Drake and Kendrick had beef. Drake didn't tweet anything. Kendrick didn't tweet anything. If anything, the music was so damn egregious from both sides, depending on how you see it. You definitely should have saw each other. You definitely should have saw each other. Don't tweet nothing. Don't tweet nothing. Don't DM me shits. Give me your team. His team. Where his light? Where his flight? Where is his next tour date? Where is it? I need to see him. I need to eye to eye this man. Because I just feel like that's the type of time is on if you have real beef with somebody. And I just don't understand why it had to get so messy with Cardi and Nicki, to the point where they had to just come out of character for both of them. I just think it's very ill. Having said that, Cardi's new album came out and it was dope. I definitely enjoyed Cardi. I didn't think that I see how the album played out when it came with all the things that she's been going through with Nicki and Offset and all that other stuff, and Offset with the interview. Like the album release is very convenient for the things that are happening in real time, or the things that were on the timeline that were highlighted. And if you want to hear something, go run and tell that with Nicki as well. I mean, with Cardi. Even a lot of people have came out, or a lot of people have had interviews regarding Nicki or asked about Nicki and Cardi's album and XYZ. So there's just a lot of publicity going around that's buzzing, that's giving Cardi attention for her album, which, aside from all the stuff that's happening, it's well deserved. I wish it was a clean rollout. I miss clean rollouts. A rollout where just my album's coming out, listen to the music, and we will talk about it. And I'm doing my thing. It's not off of some of this. But hey, that's where I stand with it. But I did enjoy Cardi's album. She definitely was very she had a couple bangers. I definitely have some songs on her album that I put in the playlist. Not gonna lie, I did. Thug's album came out. Uh, Again, I apologize because there was a segment where we had this conversation. I had this conversation with Thug's album, and Daryl gave me a very passionate, gave me a real passionate review. Basically, saying he ain't fucking with that shit. Basically, he said he didn't like it. He thought it was whack. It was whack. He's whack. Everything about him is whack. I don't know why people even care about him. He's whack. He's been whack for a while. And if you listen to his old stuff, that's when he wasn't whack. But now he's whack. Everything about him is whack. I know he said more things. DB will attest to it. But that's what he said. But he also highlighted Lucci. And I want to also highlight Lucci as well because he also dropped a project around the same time. And it didn't get recognition, you know, because of whatever was happening with the algorithms. So, you know, just for that highly doubted moment and to give Daryl his flowers on the topic and segment of Lucci and his album, go check that out. It was dope as well. There was also some other, because I just be out, you know, driving, so I definitely like to just try to listen to new music anytime I can. You know, don't always got to be, you know, the regular 6-7 artists we talk about every single time we talk. There's definitely been some new artists that have dropped some music that you thought I wasn't gonna talk about. Yes, I was. Yes, sir. Chillington Dutch dropped a project. You know what I'm saying? My homegirl Chili, she dropped a project. It's called "It's Chilly in Here." You know what I'm saying? It's her first solo project, and I am so proud of her for dropping this thing, you know what I'm saying? Because it's been long awaited. It's been long awaited. And I have waited uh personally I've waited a long time for her to, you know, come out and make her solo entrance into the DSP world. And she definitely did her thing with this project. It's 8 songs. Yours truly was, you know, not necessarily a feature, but I was definitely had some nips and bits in there. One of the songs, but no, man, go check her out. Chillington Dutch. Again, it's Chillington Dutch on all platforms. It's chilly in here. I also want to get her on the pod. Like I just said, everything's on a pause, so I would want to get her on the pod to talk about the project, but we'll see. I also say that for a lot of others as well, but want to shout out my people. Want to shout out the people that are doing big things. Don't just want to overshadow them with bullshit. Give Chili her flowers. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's Chili in here. Check that shit out. Um, You know, I have another one. I have something I want to talk about actually. This is very left field, but I do want to speak on it because I was engulfed in it for mainly for the whole summer. Um, so I spent basically the whole summer working at the Motor Speedway in Charlotte, right? And there are a lot of things that go down in that on that property during the summer, right? Along with races, Coca-Cola 600, Roval 400, worked both of those events. Dope crowd, dope energy. Was a sweet attendant to serve the people in the Toyota suite. Shout out Toyota. Um, so yeah, man, it was a dope experience. But I don't know if people have this, but when you're engulfed in an environment for so long, you don't conform or say like that, but you really start to like get more ingrained in what you're doing, you know what I'm saying, or the culture or the thing about it. So I found myself watching races. I mean, not just because I worked them, but I ended up like really watching races like on TV, like F1 races. Didn't have to watch the races on TV because I worked there. But the point is, I just really started to enjoy the culture of racing, right? And cars, and not necessarily going to hit you all over the head with a bunch of brands and uh, models and a whole bunch of stats and stuff. But I do want to say somebody who is not really uh, familiar with that arena of entertainment, y'all know how to enjoy yourselves, man. I know how to enjoy yourselves. I definitely want to start opening up my sphere of entertainment to things. You know, I'm not saying I got the money to drop bread on a race. I'm not saying that. It's a pretty penny to go watch these races, but I definitely enjoy the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? The atmosphere is amazing. It's loud. I mean, obviously, but the atmosphere is amazing, man. You definitely need to go open your mind to new type of experiences. Yes, yes, I am saying what I'm saying. Go to it. It doesn't have to be a race, right? Because there was a lot of things that were there in that property. They have monster trucks. They have uh, drag racing. They have motocross. They have, they just have different things. And I think they have something happening in November very soon. I got to get more information on that. But yeah, they got things going on. So, PSA for those people who are looking for new things or looking for new, just random, just excitement, just something. Never would I imagine that working at Motor Speedway would have got me uh, so, mm, I guess so wanting to go to a car event. You know what I'm saying? Like there are car events that happen. It's crazy because I'm working where it's happening, but I'm saying just for moments where I'm not working, I would definitely go and just just be in the space, man. I'm not gonna even say what y'all thinking. The biggest thing to all of my people, I know what my people are thinking right now. As I'm speaking about this right now, I can see some of y'all rolling your eyes and some of y'all being like, "Oh boy, Michelle, you know, Michelle." Okay, open your mind. Open your minds, okay? That's all I'm saying. There are just some new experiences that people just need to just get into. You never know. It's fun. It's fun. Like cornhole. But we ain't gonna get into that either. But yeah, man, my summer. I think that's really why I brought it up. That was really my summer. My summer was basically a cars, and more cars. There were some special events in there too. Some very I'm saying top level. You know what I'm saying, but overall, all dedicated to cars, all dedicated to the love of cars and expensive sponsors. Shout out to the expensive sponsors. We would love to get an expensive sponsor for the High Data podcast. Please, we would love a sponsor. So yeah, that was my summer. That was my summer, which really brings me, I guess, to the end because I've been rambling for a minute because I'm just in a space now of getting off work, but just being in a new space, y'all. I think that's where this podcast is really going to go 133 moving forward, especially just because it's a change to just audio again. So we're back to the regular vintage podcast experience. All those pauses are not as hitting as they used to be because there used to be a camera where you could see me, but you get the point. But no, man, I appreciate everybody who's listened, who still listens. I don't even think I did all of the, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast. I didn't even do that. See, your boy's messing up. But no, man, I definitely want to thank all of you guys for listening. Shout out to all of the people who have been waiting for the next episode, whatever it is. Y'all just love to hear it. Cute dog. And I appreciate y'all, man. I'll be back. And I don't say that on some, oh, he's here. For another, no, I'll be back. Especially with this new format now. As it is a little later than what it usually is, it would be the same how it would be in the beginning. So, some things change, some things stay the same. You feel me? So we will be back. I will be back next week to give you guys another episode because there will be a lot of stuff to talk about. This supervisor thing goes in full throttle next week. This is like the last free week of life I have before I really dive in head, feet, slacks, belt, dress shirt, tie into. So yeah, I will definitely be on a much more organized note I just wanted to come and give y'all a PSA on KQ and where he's at. Thank y'all for listening again, because I just always appreciate y'all, man. Y'all don't understand how much it means to me that y'all listen and y'all, just show love. I appreciate it. I really do. I can't say that enough times. But yeah, man, I'm going to wrap this up. This is episode 133 of the High Ladder Podcast. I'm your host, KQ Dog, and we out. Bye.
You stuck on me, dog. Nowadays niggas be doubting the dog. KQ is word, it's all on my wall. Graffiti and all, I'm getting them checks, I'm feeling.